Good morning, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the 112th weekly webinar of AABN. AABN is now moving forward with optimism and an enhanced vision to create extraordinary value for entrepreneurs through enduring experiences for our guest, partner, and alumni, supported by values of integrity, agility, efficiency, collaboration, sustainable development, and respect for entrepreneurial community. On behalf of my colleagues on the core committee, I extend my sincere gratitude for the continued support to all the stakeholders. The resource person for today's webinar is Ms. Revathi Turaga, founder and director, Learn Sprint Private Limited. The topic for today's webinar shall be Taking the Leap, How Runners Make for Excellent Entrepreneurs. The theme of today's interactive networking webinar says that a strong self-belief and a positive attitude is most vital for the success in life. The skills that give you an edge in competitive sport can give you an edge in business. Focus, determination, perfect practice. Staying cool under pressure and a heightened awareness that hard work pays off. Sport creates expensive entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs create resourceful sports people. Business and sports have many similarities, including that both require the best version of you to make them a success. The benefits gleaned from having both are vast, and you might well love the combination. I think sports and business have a lot of parallels, and I think they have a good grasp of what makes businesses successful. It is not unheard of for pro athletes to turn out to be great business owners or entrepreneurs, because the very qualities that makes a successful sports person also form the foundation of a great business leader. Athletes that compete at a very high level adapt to performing under a lot of pressure and an extremely competitive environment. Today, I'm very pleased to welcome Revathi Turaga as our special guest speaker. Before I hand over the floor to her, let me quickly run you through her achievements, a long list that has been cut short rather reluctantly by me to save time. An entrepreneur by spirit and a runner by heart, Revathi has 25 plus years of corporate experience in using practical and inspiring techniques to enable individuals, teams, institutions, and organizations to succeed in their personal, career, fitness, and business goals. An accredited Six Sigma Green Belt from GE and a practitioner of direct-to-communication psychology from American Institute of Business Psychology, Revathi is also certified as a fitness trainer and in D. Bruno's 6 thinking hats and lateral thinking concepts. She has worked across India, Middle East, and the US as an inspirational speaker and innovation consultant. Her work with entrepreneurs, leaders, and teams helps them collaborate, stay aligned to their goals, and succeed with confidence. Being an entrepreneur or a CXO leader can be lonely with a fair share of stress and burnout. Juggling multiple responsibilities and leading teams towards success and happiness does not naturally always give a high, and leaders have their moments of self-doubt and failure. Using MBTI, DISC, and Hogan as additional resources, Revathi enables CEOs, leaders, and entrepreneurs to excel in their roles and stay on top of their game. It facilitates them to reflect, introspect, and explore alternative ideas, as well as to stay focused and energized as themselves on themselves and their goals through paths of self-discovery and self-awareness. She is the founder director of Lean Spirit, a self-paced e-learning portal with courses on leadership, self-development, customer-centric communication, interpersonal and managerial skills, productivity management, public speaking and presentation skills, influencing and persuasion, overcoming fears and self-doubt, amongst others. Revathi is a trustee at Turaga Foundation in the editorial and is the editorial team of Runziva's newsletter for the Hyderabad Runner Society, vice chair of Indian Society of Training and Development for Hyderabad chapter, and life member of International Association of Holistic Psychology, ISTD, NHRD, HMA, etc. She is a mechanical engineering graduate with double masters in psychology and management. Revathi writes articles for reputed newspapers and journals, with her articles published at Academia Education and the SSRN. Revathi is also the author of You Have the Power and Tanker Your Thoughts. Revathi's knowledge of the topic and her ability to engage the audience will ensure that at least today will walk away with several key takeaways. It will ensure that your attendance at the webinar today was more than worthwhile. I'm not going to make you wait longer, but let Revathi take over and regale you with her astute experience and fresh ideas. Thank you, and over to you, Revathi.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. So this is the first time that I am interacting with all of you as a group, and hopefully you would find your time a little worthwhile and the interactions a little worthwhile for sparing the 90 odd minutes that we have today with me. Thank you so much, and I would love to start off with all of us just doing something for about a minute together. And I would really appreciate it if at least for this minute, if you could have videos on. I'm just going to pause for about 10 seconds so that if you could have your videos on for just at least a minute so that we could start off with something that we can do together and zone in and check in into the session. Thank you so much for those of us switching them on. Thank you so much. And I'd encourage all of you to keep your videos on throughout the session and to extensively use the chat box for sharing any thoughts, any ideas, any suggestions, even any questions at any point of time. You can pick them up on the go or you can pick them at the end. But you can always feel free to share anything and everything in the chat box. Feel free to unmute at any point of time and speak. Don't worry about interrupting my flow of thought. I'll figure it out. Feel free to speak up at any point of time that you would like to. So thank you for that. And I would like us all to just start off with a couple of deep breaths, maybe about 10 deep breaths so that we can check in and zone in into the conversation today and keep out a lot of the other thoughts that we do have. So if you could close your eyes and take a deep breath in when I say inhale, and hold and slowly take a deep breath out when I say exhale. And I would like us to do this for a few times together. So you could all close your eyes. And as I say inhale, take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. Let's repeat that a couple of times. Take a deep breath. Inhale and slowly exhale. And I hope everyone with videos or without videos is still doing this. This time, when I asked you to take a deep breath and inhale, I would like for you to, while you're inhaling the breath, would like for you to take in all the energies from everybody else present in the group here today. Take on the energies of everybody present in the group here today, all the positivity around, and inhale that along with your breath. Take a deep breath and inhale with all the positive energies and slowly exhale and let out any distractions and any negative thoughts in your mind right now while exhaling. Let's do this a few times. Inhale, taking in all the positive energies that's available around, and slowly exhale, letting out all the negative thoughts, distractions, and anything else except what we are here for today. And one last time, if we can inhale, taking in everything that's positive around you. And if we can exhale by letting out every distraction out there. And slowly, as you feel comfortable, you can rub your hands and put them over your eyes and slowly open your eyes and come back. And thank you so much for checking in. Thank you so much for zoning in today along with me. I think I hope it was weird enough for you to see the topic, because the topic is something that's close to my heart, and I decided to experiment that when Gopi sir asked me to kind of try something out. And I know it's also a little weird to see me. I'm not in a professional attire, so I'm in my running gear, and a little bit of the introduction about me that's out over there. Let me keep that aside and let me take you into the session. And I would like to know that you can all access your chat. You could right now type on your chat. If you could drop me a quick message after the exercise that we did, the inhale and exhale. How are you feeling right now? If you could pick one word to express your feelings at this point of time and type that in chat for me, so that I would know that you would be, if you're accessing your chat, and that you could type, so that I can also see how many of us would be able to respond, because I would love to have lots and lots and lots of responses from you today. And those of you who are on the phone and unable to really chat, feel free to unmute and speak at every point of time. Thank you. Energized, focused, fresh. Thank you. Would love to see more thoughts while I go ahead and start sharing my screen. So I have slides for today, but I'm also hoping that I will get to hear a lot more from each and every one of you because you have a lot of experience from your side too. Okay, that's my screen. Thank you. Refreshed, feeling bright. Thank you. Pleasure to see that. Just setting my chat, setting my participants work so I can see everything still. And I am assuming you could see my screen. Please confirm.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Haripriya. Okay. So this is what the poster actually said. And like I said, I'm gonna feeling good. Thank you. I'm gonna hope and wish that I would have as much interaction as possible. Please unmute and please chat. Use both as much as possible today, right? So this is what the topic and the title and the poster said, taking the leap, how runners make for excellent entrepreneurs. So tell me something. I think Kopi sir also gave a long introduction, but running, sports and entrepreneurship or business, do you feel there is a parallel between them or do you feel that it doesn't really make sense? Why would you want to put the two together? So yes, there is a parallel between them or no, it doesn't make sense. Why would you want to put them together? What do you want to say? Yes or no? Is there a parallel? Is there a resonance between the two topics? There's a link, okay? What about the others? A quick yes or no? Yes or no? You can unmute or you can share it on the chat. But I would love to know that you're not just here on Zoom, but that you're also there with all of us today. So yes, nice to see a few replies. Thanks about it. So there are so many different ways. In fact, I was talking to one of my friends yesterday, and when I said I'm saying taking the leap, he said, oh, learning, energy, activity, pace, that's what running and entrepreneurship have together. And I said, oh yeah, I already said learning, excellence, ambitious and ambitions and plan, right? So there are so many ways that you could probably change this, tweak this, but this is how we're going to look at it today. And here's the question. We're talking about running and entrepreneurship. So here's a question for all of you, a very simple question. What do you think business is all about? Is it a marathon or is it a sprint? So a sprint is like a dash, Usain Bolt kind of sprint through. A marathon is what Kipchoge does, long distance running. So running, your business, a marathon or a sprint, each one runs at their own pace to pursue their purpose in life. Fantastic, definitely. Okay, Subhalakshmi, Gopinath, marathon. Okay, others, marathon or a sprint, what do you think? Running towards a goal is a marathon. So I apologize in advance if I get a couple of your names wrong, but I'm not able to read up the names while I read the points that you are typing on the chat. I'm going to try and read up some of the points that come out too. So, and keep responding, even if I've moved on to the next slide. So Gary Vaynerchuk says business is a marathon, but most of the society think it's a sprint, right? Yeah, Haripriya, yes, sometimes you run faster, but a sprint ends at 100 meters dash, 500 meters dash, and you go as fast as you can and you exhaust your energy out over there. Business for us is a marathon, but for most people that see out over there, they see it as a sprint. They only see what we succeed and the end result, not the toil and the turmoil that all of us really go through. So always remember, every time as an entrepreneur, business is a marathon. It's not about how fast you can get there, but it is about slowly getting there. And let me tell you, there are so many business people and there are so many leaders out over there who love to run marathons. The most popular example, the most famous example in India, a couple of famous examples. Anyone knows who this is? Unmute, tell me who this is, or just kind of type it on the chat if you have any idea who this is. You can say no idea, so that I will.
Chandrasekhar.
Narayana Murthy, Infosys.
Yes, very easily to be confused with Narayana Murthy. And I was hoping.
Chandrasekhar, Chairman, Tata's.
Chandrasekhar, the chairman of Tata Group. And one person that you can see on the road on the Mumbai Marathon. You will run on the Mumbai Marathon if you run over there. He runs at least one full marathon, which is 42.125 kilometers, by the way. My marathoner friends, I'm a 10K runner, but my marathoner friends will hate me if I say 42 kilometers, right? And Chandra runs a lot of half marathons, at least one full marathon a year. Imagine being on a road for 42.125 kilometers, right? He's chairman of Tata Group, and you will definitely run into him on the road in the Mumbai Marathon. Everyone knows who this is?
Anil Amani.
Fantastic. Yes, obviously. But how many of you know that he's also known as the corporate marathoner of India, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Do I call you Babu or do I call you Gopinath? Sorry.
Yeah, madam. Yeah, madam.
Babu or Gopinath? What do I call you?
Babu Gopinath, madam.
Babu Gopinath. Okay, sure. The corporate marathoner of India used to weigh 105 kgs, couldn't walk a kilometer, and now runs marathons across. He's actually famous as the marathon man in corporate circles, right? Anyone? Any idea? Maybe not so popular as the other two. Rashesh Shah is the CEO of the Redolus Group. He used to play tennis a lot, got injured on the elbow, so shifted to running. At least one full marathon, a couple of half marathons. And remember, not all of these people say I will always run a full marathon every time that I do. In fact, we don't even say full marathon, we just say marathon, right? Anyone? Who is this? Hindi actor? Okay.
Raymond Balls.
Rahul Bose, yes. Okay.
Raymond.
Rahul Bose, an actor, is a rugby player, okay, something like football, and a marathoner too, right? So let me, quick question. Anyone here who has done 10 kilometers or a half marathon or a marathon running in a race? Anyone here who's officially done a run and taken over a medal, at least on a 10 kilometers or a half or a full? Anyone? Please tell me now, tell us now, type now, so that we will know. Once done for 10 kilometers. Congrats, Padmapriya, right? Okay, you're with me. Anyone else? Just for me to know that we have runners over here. Okay. Okay, that's one. Oh, full marathon. Subhalashree, thank you so much. You should be taking the session. I'm not a full marathoner yet. I'm not even a half marathoner yet. Hoping to get there in the next 1 year. And hopefully I'll have a friend of mine join me today for a while. 10 kilometers. So I've been doing a series of 10 kilometers for a while, but I'm also a very core and integral part of Hyderabad Runners Society, right? And for those of us who are running, 10 is probably a smaller number. For those who are not running, 10 itself seems like a very huge number. And if we can take away some of these ideas for our own business and our own life today, that's great. If all of you turn out to go and then become runners, well, then that's a bonus for this session for me today. So here's something that Ajit Panikkar, the founder of Pure Blue Technologies, says. He says entrepreneurship requires a marathon mind. It's a mindset, and the similar kind of a mindset that you need to actually successfully complete a marathon. And Subhalashree, I'm going to invite you to please share your experiences and thoughts at any point of time on the chat or to unmute, because I would love for you to be able to do that. Long walk, 25 kilometers on plane, trekking, pilgrimage. Yeah, foreigners love to trek and we go on pilgrimages, and we achieve a lot more on pilgrimages than foreigners can on the treks that they actually do. So the mindset of a marathon, right? So entrepreneurship is like running a marathon. Most people confuse it at a 100-yard dash. They think, oh, it's just, and that's why people actually fail. It's about how long you can stay in the race. It's not about how fast you can go. So, and with this part, because there are quite a few of you that do treks, that have 10 kilometers, that's one of you that's done a full marathon, I have a couple of questions. What do you think are some of the common qualities between running and entrepreneurship? Runners and entrepreneurs, what do you think are some of the common qualities? Can we just have a few? Unmute and speak or type on the chat. I would love to hear both. Actually, not giving up is one, definitely. What are some of the common qualities, friends? Runners, entrepreneurs, common qualities.
You need to keep pursuing it and crossing over all the hardships.
Okay, keep persevering, crossing over hardships. Fantastic. What else?
Sometimes
And it's a mind game.
I'm sorry, someone else hanging on till the end. Okay, Vishwanath sir. Others? Sorry, somebody unmuted. Two people unmuted at the same time.
Staying cool under pressure.
Staying cool under pressure. Okay, what else?
we will think about
Yeah.
giving up, but it's about working hard and not giving up, and having a better partner along the way to push you also, and it's a working together and to reach the goal and to succeed.
Working hard, not giving up, reach the goal to succeed, actually even fail you as much as possible. But having a partner with you, somebody that's running buddy, right? Okay. Dynamism, fantastic, Ilango, and self-motivation. Thank you so much. Okay, very quickly for all of you, I do have a desktop open. I have a second laptop open just in case something goes wrong with this. I'll be able to flip through over here. So once in a while, I'll keep looking at the screen too, right? Reserve energy, fantastic, Venkat. Never empty your tank, right? Always have something that you can pull out, even if you are gone to the least that you can go. Okay. A few other points. I'm not going to read all of my slides. Some of the points on the slides are because they actually will stay, right? Continually innovate to stay ahead. Fantastic. A few other points out over here. Endorphins, huge amount of satisfaction, but hurts, it pains. Anybody that's crossed, probably, Subhalakshmi can share more, but that crosses certain kilometers, there is no full marathoner I know, a friend of mine, who has not at one point of time during the run told me, why did I decide to run a marathon? Why did I not stick with a 10K like you did? But they finish it. And then the next thought in their mind is, when is the next marathon I can participate, right? So this is doubts versus confidence, growth mindset. I can get better, right? Huge amounts of happiness. Some of these points, plus all of the others you're talking about, speed, strength, endurance, fatigue resistance, the actual being a fitness trainer, it's also actual specific words that are out over there. It's all about the journey sometimes. It's not about the end result. And that's why life is a marathon, so is running a business. And today we're talking about 4 aspects and maybe 4 frameworks that you can pick up and practice. I've tried to make it a little tangible for all of you, that in the next 40 minutes, 45 minutes, I can share 4 frameworks and we'll try and practice some of them a little bit today. Hopefully they'll be a little different than what you are used to. Saying that it's about taking the leap. It's about how much of a constant, continuous learner we are, how much we strive to excel. It's about being ambitious, wanting to reach the next level always. And it's about the amount of planning that we can do. So how many of you would agree that these are 4 qualities that actually are essential? Amongst all of them, I've decided we're going to pick up some frameworks to look at these today. And I hope that some frameworks on these will help us revisit our own journeys as an entrepreneur. Would that be good? Just give me a quick thumbs up, a quick heads up, a quick okay, a quick yes, if this makes sense. Oh, thank you. Okay. And I do hope, sir, that the chat gets recorded in its own way, because there's amazing points on the chat. Otherwise, if we could find a way to pick up the chat and post it on comments in the YouTube, would be great. Definitely. Thank you. Love the re-energize, love the rest and reset. We usually say rest and recovery. Rest and reset is so fantastic. Okay, awesome. And just a big disclaimer, I've not run a half or a full marathon till now. I'm a 10K runner and I really hope to increase the distance in this year. My goal and my commitment to some of my runner friends is being able to do a half marathon in Jan next year. And that is the target that I have. I associate a lot with Hyderabad runners. I volunteer. I'm on the newsletter editorial team. I volunteer for the corporate registrations for the Hyderabad Marathon. I'm the person that to go to if you want a bulk or a group registration for any of the runs that happen in Hyderabad for the Hyderabad Runners Group. I work on webinar series with them, and I also work in the core team for the Hyderabad Runners, the Hyderabad Marathon that happens. So I volunteer quite a bit. It's an organization that helped me. I used to be 120 kgs. I am down to about 89 kgs now, and I have a long way to go. I have gained so much from just those little distances I've been running, and it's a journey that's ongoing for me. And I hope that some of these aspects would be interesting for you. So L for learning. And a small disclaimer that all images are courtesy of the respective websites. I found some amazing pictures I've picked up, but none of them are mine. None of them are created by me. The framework of the session and the design and the thought process of mine is what is mine. And I hope that you can contribute to that. So tell me something. Lifelong learners. Tell me a few qualities of lifelong learners. A few qualities of lifelong learners. What do lifelong learners keep doing that entrepreneurs?
Passion to learn.
Passion to learn. Okay, Sujata, thank you so much. Others?
Yeah, you need the discipline to do it every time.
The discipline, continuous discipline, habits, willing to fail. Okay, I'm also reading on the chat. So I'm used to this jugalbandi multitasking, and I hope that you will have practice daily. If I miss reading something on the chat, and if any of you find that intriguing, please pick up and read saying someone posted this Revathi, you missed reading, I found that great. And I'll be more than glad for that. Improvement on every occasion, continuous improvement, Cammy, continuous and never ending improvement that we talk about, right? Fantastic. Keep typing even if I have a few. I've just put a few points out over here. Staying positive, passion, rinse and repeat after failure. I love that phrase. You know, DNF did not finish. DNF is said to be a rite of passage for a lot of runners. I wanted to finish the race. I couldn't finish. I stopped in between. Then you learn and you come back from a did not finish to, you know what, did not fail, and then kind of finish the next race. But you get up, you rinse and you repeat, and then you come back to another race. You don't really stop. By the way, we call it a race, but a marathon is one event that is never a race. Everybody gets a medal, and it's not about who comes first. So curiosity, ask questions, healthy view of mistakes, practice, work hard, push towards success constantly. Some of these things are what learners do quite a lot. But I want to pick up and talk about an interesting framework that I've seen a lot of marathoners do without even realizing that they do this. It's called the OODA loop by John Boyd. Now, as businessmen, entrepreneurs, MBAs, familiars, how many of us are familiar with what is the OODA loop? Anyone? Yes? No? Give me a quick yes, no. OODA, OODA loop by John Boyd, developed first for the US military and then used across in business and work and a lot of other areas. Familiar? Not familiar? Everyone? Is silence no? Okay. Meenakshi Sundara is one as no. So by the way, so I disclaimer, I'm from Hyderabad. I'm Tamil Romana Peswar. Naval Parangradu Sriharikota. I grew up in Sriharikota. Chennai Romba shopping, walking, Elavana Chennai Pane. Tamil Panam Patata I've grown up quite a bit. So I speak Tamil as well as I speak Telugu, though I'm Telugu. I got one no and no yeses. So do I assume it's a no? Yeah, and I assume it's a no. Okay, I'm assuming it's a no. So here's the framework of OODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, act. I want to throw it out there and I want to ask you guys, what do you think it means? Anyone? Just look at this and just throw out or guess pannunga. Just throw out one guess. What do you think it means? Anyone unmute and tell me. Looking at this now, I think Revathi. Tell me what do you think it means. Galaxy 830, you're going to speak or you unmuted by mistake? Who'd like to try it? Give it a shot. Padma Priya, going back to seeing those of you who like, this is similar to PDCA cycle of PQM, okay? Process, feedback, again, repeat, plan, development, PDCA cycle, a little different, but definitely quality, it's all about quality. Process, feedback, again, repeat, okay? Just this framework, without knowing what it actually means. Aim, okay? So here's the explanation. Majorly used in decision making, but also useful in a lot of other areas. It says about observe what is happening, what's the current situation, internal and external. Used majorly in decision making and change management, right? Act on decisions, but it's a continuous cycle. Okay, thanks, Gopi. What is the current situation? Do I want to change? Why do I want to change? And then you orient yourself to the new direction that you need to go, right? I mean, we use OODA loop when we are even traveling out from home to office. Okay, you kind of step out of the house and then you start off on the road that you know better, and then you see that continual improvement. That's why learning, Murthy. Yes. Okay, you see that there is a traffic and a problem, and you decide, okay, you know what? It seems like there's an issue over there. Let me turn left here instead of going right. and then you just orient yourself different. So you observe the difference, you orient your direction differently. Then you make the decision that I'm going to go in this path. You act on it, but keep observing because you never know, right? That something else will go wrong and you have to shift your direction again. So Google Maps helps you do that. Have you all noticed where it says from here, this is 2 minutes lesser, this is 2 minutes more, this is 5 minutes faster, this is, yes, all of you? Remember that? The way Google Maps shows you multiple options? Yes, no? Yeah, and as you step onto one of them, it changes again. So it lets you take dynamic decisions at every point of time. So OODA loop is something that a lot of us do, but consciously, if you can observe your internal and external changes within you and outside, right? And a lot of times, I've talked to, I've been in running for about 3 years now, and because of the way I interact in Hyderabad runners, I've known people that are ultra marathoners, people that do 120 kilometers in Kodaikanal, right? And actually do all of that, people that go to Malnad for 80 kilometers ultra. And I've heard them talk so much about, you can never decide, Revathi, that when we start off on the starting line, you can never decide how you get to the end line. You know, you can never decide that. As I started running, I realized suddenly that my feet were feeling a little sore. And I wanted to run the first 10 kilometers, but then I had to stop and then I had to walk for a while. Dynamic decision. And once I felt better, I had to see how much of the time I wanted got shaved off. And then I needed to make up for that time again a little more. So internal changes in the body. I suddenly started feeling a little thirsty and I didn't plan. I wanted to have water after only 4 kilometers, but then I realized that I should have had some, and then I had in between immediately. Sometimes external changes. So, by the way, we do what we call a stadium run in Hyderabad, and this happens in the other cities too, where it's 12 hours, and a couple of people run the entire 12 hours on the stadium loop. They run, walk, jog, pause, and they do that for 12 hours. And then we have a relay run where six people per team also do that run. And in the 12 hours, you should see the weather change. Starts off at 6 in the morning, let's say. And suddenly by the time it is 10 o'clock, it starts raining. And people have to change their strategy. They would have planned to do X number of loops in the 12 hours. Suddenly it starts raining and then they start to walk because they don't want to, get afraid if it's a drizzle, they still continue running. Heavy rain, you got to stop and you got to come back. Weather changes happen. So many times you plan for an event. The Hyderabad Marathon happens in August. The Chennai Marathon happens in September after that, right? You have the Mumbai in January. We know how the weather is going to be, but on that day, right, it might be hotter than what you planned. Then again, you change. So OODA loop is something I've seen my friends, marathoners use amazingly well. I don't use it too much for the 10 kilometers. It does not create that much of an impact. But when you're doing 42.125 kilometers, that's something that you need to constantly keep changing on the go. If you want to get to 42.125 kilometers, you cannot decide your complete strategy at that time. You have to be able to keep changing it dynamically as you go forward. Any thoughts on this? Subalakshmi, I'm going to keep coming back to you for your tidbits on this, just based upon your experience. Any thoughts on this?
Yes, your audio is not exactly very clear. That some of the things what you say we miss hearing that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I audible clearly to others, or is it? Somebody tell me.
It is audible, but it is not very clear. It is very much audible.
Okay.
The clarity is little less. That's what I meant.
Sure. So I would go a little slower, but this concept of OODA loop, have you all experienced this in life with work during maybe those of you who've done the long runs that you have to?
Yes. Yeah, we, like, as you said, the weather keeps changing. We need to change our plans. It happens every time, during the long run. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, thank you for that. So in business, okay, and can I have a few other people also please respond to me? Will slowing down help in being a little more clear? I would love to get that instant feedback to know from each one of you. Or if you're able to let me write.
Slow down.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay. Business, being aware, how much in control, responding. This is about being aware, being in control and responding to what is happening outside. So this is an example. I found this image and I found it extremely interesting. So the disclaimer, I've seen that we are bottom, there's a small spelling mistake, but that's okay. I think the beauty of the whole image makes more sense to me. Look at how much your communication matters. How much you look at what is happening matters during the processes, during the project management, right? Okay, looking at the other people around. Okay, sometimes new people join, sometimes somebody quits, sometimes somebody gets unexpectedly unwell during with our team. Sometimes the COVID happens. I mean, that's a big thing, right? That really happened. Okay, lockdowns happen. So those are the big things that made us completely disrupt. But there are always small changes. Something as simple as you expect a client to close a payment on the next day and they defer it by 15 days. And suddenly your entire financial planning has to be revamped. I want each one of us to think about examples of OODA loop that you could not continue or you thought, but you had to dynamically keep changing those decisions during your, and some of you are students, then if there's somebody still studying, same work for your preparation, for your exams, for your regular details that you have, right? How many of you have actually been through this? And I would love if some of you can share some examples of the OODA loop in your life, in your work. Anyone? So a quick question, does it resonate? L for learning, and it's not about learning and keeping that so that you can use it, but it's about learning on the go. It's about changing on the go and observing and dynamically making those changes. How many of you have experienced this in your work life, in your business, in your life? Work, okay? Others, how many of you encountered OODA loop? How many of you have had experiences on OODA loop? Is this something, me in my work, is this something that will help you become a better entrepreneur, a better businessman? Keeping this in mind and consciously using this. If it's a yes, give me a yes so we can move on to the next point that we have. If you could give me an yes, then we can move on to the next point that we have. Yes, it does. Okay. What about the others? Quick thoughts. Does it resonate? So I have this picture for excellence. I wish someday when I would run like that, you know, but when we run, our form goes everywhere. But there is an excellent running form that minimizes injuries and gets you the maximum benefit that you can. Excellence is about being who you are and being that well, right? In each project, supply completion has this loop. Absolutely, Langovan. And if after today, if you can have that in your mind constantly, then that would be great. That would be a takeaway for me as well. So excellent. Any quick thoughts on excellence? What are the qualities for somebody to excel? Quick thoughts in about 30 seconds, and then I would just move on when you are sharing on the chat. Just like you shared for learning. Quick thoughts on excel. Qualities for somebody to excel. Anybody to unmute? To be the best, serve better. I love that thought about service. Please keep sharing what comes to your mind. Couple of things. You know, one thing in excellence, I've heard a lot of runners talk to me about, do not overtrain, do not overwork, right? Do not overtrain and do not overwork yourself. Avoid this made of competition, comparison trap. Where are they going? How much? Every person for themselves is where their particular race is. It's not about where someone else is going. How fast are they able to run? How fast am I running? Same with entrepreneurship or business. It's not comparing with everybody else. It's about going at your pace. Somebody said that in the starting, that it's about going in your pace. Handling discomfort, being able to go into uncomfortable times, right? Bad miles and bad times you have to endure through. You will have bad miles in a 42.125 kilometer stretch. Heck, you will have bad miles even in a 10-kilometer stretch. You have to endure through that. Same way, you will have bad times in your entrepreneurship stretch. You have to endure through that. Emulate yourself. Great. Okay, keep improving. So, couple of things in that. And I would like to draw your attention to what Aristotle said, that we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but it's a habit. It's all about a habit. Somebody mentioned that during the learning aspect of it, that it's about habits. So to be able to excel, I need to be able to make things a habit. And I thought usually we form habits based on what we want to achieve. I thought, just like the OODA loop, I will bring in a different framework, a different perspective for you to see habits. It's called identity-based habits. Anyone's heard of identity-based habits? Quick question once again. Anyone heard of this identity-based habits? Can you guess what this means? Just like you tried to guess about the OODA loop, quick guess what identity-based habits mean. Quick guess. And I'm getting a lot of points on the chat. I'll try to read them up as they come by. Just like you tried to guess for the OODA loop. What is an identity-based habit? Anyone? Okay. Okay. So let me go ahead and talk about what it really means, right? We usually form habits based on outcomes, based on what we want. An identity-based habit focuses on who you wish to be. So let me give you a very simple example. I want to lose 10 kgs of weight in the next 3 months. That's a good goal. It's a good target. It's a good outcome. I want to lose 10 kgs of weight in 3 months. That is the outcome I want. And so I will take care that I will not eat sugar. I will move to jaggery. That's a habit. Make sense, everyone? Yes? No? Give me a quick yes or no. As an example. Yes? Okay. The person you are? Yes? Okay. Thanks for saying that. But here's the identity. When I say I will lose weight, 10 kgs of weight in the next 3 months, if I ask myself, what kind of person will be able to achieve that? You know? Well, I might say somebody that eats healthy. Now I move from I want to lose 10 kgs of weight in 3 months to I want to be the kind of a person that eats healthy. And then I will form habits for that identity. So let's be the same that, hey, I will not eat sugar, I will eat jaggery, but the chances of the probability of my sticking to it will be a lot more. I don't know what happened. One time I stopped all the sugar intake. I'm not running 5 kgs of weight. I take it the next month because the first 5 kgs will happen like this. I'll take it easy the next month. But if I go to be a person who eats healthy, then I will continue on because the identity does not have an end solution. So that is what identity-based habits mean. This is from a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And I thought of bringing that in and talking to us as entrepreneurs over here. If you just look at it, outcome is what you want to achieve, and identity is what you want to become. So the behavioral change is a lot more for identity than actually outcomes. So this is having versus becoming, right? So habits shape identity. So if you can decide who you want to be, what is the identity, and small wins for that. Let me tell you, runners have, I am a slow runner, I'm a fast-paced runner, okay? I've seen runners who say, I'm a barefoot runner, okay? I want to be barefoot ultimately. That's my goal. I don't want to run long distances. I just want to stick with, I want to go barefoot. This is okay now? A quick shout out, is my audio okay?
No, voice is cracking. Revathi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me try and set my mic thing up a little more. Okay. Okay now, sir.
Yeah, better now.
Okay. Sure. So I have runners who tell me barefoot. All I need to do is run barefoot. I don't need long distance. Then I have some runners who are happy to get 10 kilometers. I want people to run marathon and I love the marathon and keep running the 110. That's all I care about right now. Say 4 hours, 5 hours. I want to increase distance. To talk about, I love to wear garments, straw, there are gadgets, Apple Watch, Garmin Watch. There are runners who do not measure their distance at all. They just get on the road and they want to enjoy. No gadgets. I know runners that don't cross what we call a MAP run. MAP is maximal aerobic factor. I will not cross a certain heart rate. And in that heart rate zone is what I want to run. Your identity as a runner helps you define your entire strategy. In the same way, who is the kind of entrepreneur that you want to be known as? Right? What is the kind of person that you want to be known as in your business? Because if you have a different identity, if I believe I'm somebody who can eat whatever I want to eat, no how many times I set an outcome, I will not work towards that so much. We resist habits which conflict with our identity. And so creating an identity-based habit makes a lot more sense. So in business, when you have goals, see yourself, what is the identity that I need to create so that I can achieve these goals? And then look at constantly keep checking your habits. Constantly keep checking your habits, not with respect to your goal, but with respect to your identity. Does this make sense? A quick thought, some of you, please. Any on chat? Murthy, Meenakshi, Gopinath, are you there?
Yeah, we are there.
Okay. So any thoughts on this? That your identity defines your habits more than the outcome that you want to achieve? Will be deep rooted. Yeah, definitely. Identity is very deep rooted. It is a persona that we have. And so here is something that I would like for all of you to go back and do. The performance of business to achieve. This is the business goal I want to achieve. Then ask yourself the type of person who will achieve this goal, right? I want to get 100% employee satisfaction from my employees. Now ask yourself, you can say I will create these reward programs, people 5 times, okay? Employee satisfaction will go up. That could be one decision. But if you ask yourself, who is the kind of person who will be able to get maximum employee satisfaction? You know, maybe being a compassionate leader, a kind-hearted, compassionate leader who listens before pushing my point across is the kind of person who gets great employee satisfaction. And then you ask yourself 5 small actions that you can take to become this person, which is a very different approach than saying, I want employee satisfaction, and so I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. And this is how you can create identity-based habits to constantly perform in such a way that over a period of time, you get to be excellent in what you want to be. Not in what you want to do, but in who you want to be. As an entrepreneur, as a runner, as an individual. So we talked about the OODA in learning and about identity-based habits in excellence. So quick shout out, if that makes sense, for me to move on to the third aspect, that is A, which I call ambition. If I can get a few quick responses on chat. Okay, couple of thumbs ups. Thank you. So A is for ambition, aim for the moon, right? The ambition we're talking about. So if you please, ambition, ambitious, being ambitious, or running. Tell me a few qualities of being ambitious, please. A few qualities of someone that is ambitious. And I would love for you all to continue responding on the chat. Okay. So aim for the moon, right? So a few points out over here. Be consistent. Keep on over obstacles. Okay. Sometimes it could be about letting distractions go, right? It's about completing. Okay. It's about perseverance, dedication. Sure, Gopi. Thanks for that. Keep challenging self. What next? What next? What next? Right? If there's one thing I've heard quite a lot of my runner friends talk about, is about what next, what next, what next. There's always a next that they keep aiming for, whether they want to do it for fun or what they want to do it to prove themselves or for whatever reason that it goes. So ambition is always saying, where can I stretch next? Where can I stretch next? Where can I stretch next? And usually, pushing forward, usually we talk about smart goals, set smart goals. Can I know how many of you have you heard about smart goals? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound goals. I'm still audible, right?
Yeah, madam. Good morning. This is Shashikant here. Yes, when I do consultancy for my startups and SMEs, I actually take them to this smart framework because it becomes very easy for them to set their KPIs and KRAs, right? So it's a very fantastic framework, very simple at the same time. It's smart actually, right? So I mean, most of them. I mean, I've seen at least 9 out of 10 participants. They get really enamored by this framework. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and yes, Gopi sir, relevant is the word that we use now. Realistic is the older word that we use. Definitely agree. And thanks for sharing that, Shashikant. I, however, have seen a lot of my runner friends, and Subbalakshmi, I'm going to assume if you're still there, I'm going to rely on you to back that up. If you're not there, that's fine. Oh, you're still here. Okay. Is that we look at hard goals, right? There's a book by Mark Murphy that talks about setting hard goals, okay, and not just smart goals. So, but there is an acronym for team goals, which is about collaborative goals. There is an acronym for BHAD, big, heavy, audacious goals. But I want to pick up what I call a hard goal. It's called heartfelt, animated, required, and difficult. Heartfelt, emotionally resonant, right? Something that you can visualize, but something that you know you want to reach, it has to be difficult. And this is what I want to pick up in terms of ambition. That I've seen quite a lot of my friends keep pushing onto that, right? They're saying that when you have a higher goal, it helps you keep discipline breathing. Then how do you get your discipline? How do you feel so tired now? You know, sometimes go Friday night, go and drink biryani, still get up on a Saturday morning and get on the road. What builds that discipline? And they told me a few times, so it was not about the discipline written, I want to achieve. And if I miss today, I won't reach there. And the goal helps actually create that discipline within. And so difficult, right? Make sure it's a little stretch goal that's not very easy to really achieve. So at this point of time, I'm just going to take a pause. I wanted to play this video out over there, but I am not going to do that right now, looking at the time that we do have. But I have a YouTube channel wherein I do have that video. I'm posting the link to the channel out over here in the chat box. And if you can feel free to take a look at it and understand what a hard goal is, that's in one of those points over there. And I'd love for you to subscribe, obviously, so that you can see more of these. But set a challenging and difficult goal. We can't talk about goal and a vision and not talk about Steve Jobs, right? Get out of comfort goals. Yes. Okay. What pulls you beyond? Look at this perspective of future back strategy. This is where you are today. Traditionally, we accept this future because it can fit into where we can grow. But if you can go to a future that is beyond that, and you know you have to stretch to get there. If you know you can do it, what's the big deal? You don't know if you can do it. And I've seen this. Every time I've seen a runner friend of mine start off, They ask themselves, they're not sure if they can actually finish this. So how confident are you that you can get to the finish line? And they say, well, I don't know. What do I know? I'm confident, or I wouldn't stop. But I don't know. So for me, when I get into a 10 kilometers, I say no big deal, right? I know I can get there anyway. It's not there. But for those that go beyond, and Subbalakshmi, if you're there, to share a little more of how uncertain it is, of how ambiguous it is, how much you are unsure of really what will happen, whether you can get to where you want to go or not. That is the stretch goal that if you can have, will definitely help you to actually see your business a little more and a little forward. And I would love it if some of you could share any examples of it. So I'm going to call her. Subbalakshmi, are you there? If you are,
Yeah, I'm
I'd love for you to share something about that stretch, about the uncertainty and the ambiguity you face during the run.
Yeah, see, like as you said, there are a lot of uncertainties we face, especially with climate, our body also. Like it may not be the same as with your last practice. We just take some, like time little off before the full marathon because we need to recoup and then go in full energy. Even after doing all that, you never know on that particular day how good you will be able to do after so much of heavy practice. So like when we were doing the first marathon, one of my friends, he got cramps in between, like all of us did practice together. And it was not that all the time he gets it, but then on that race day, he got cramps. And we were with him, slow down a little bit to make sure that he is able to do that. But beyond a point, he said he was totally not able to move. So then he said, at least you guys proceed along so that you will be able to finish on time. So then we started. And then the emergency or the first aid van came and he was taken to the nearby aid station and he was given massage and whatever needed to be done. And then he started running and then he did finish. But he missed one step mat. Like so, even though he did 41, he did miss maybe 1 kilometer or a little lesser than 1 kilometer. But his status was did not finish.
Yeah.
That was such a pain, for having taken so much practice and, all those months. And on that race day, and did not even miss much, not 5, not 10, just less than a kilometer, where, you missed a running mat on which your footprint was not there. And then you are declared as a non-finisher. So these things, we need to be ready for. Even we have to take it more sportive. So that is what I mean.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that quite a bit. So like you're almost there, right? Yogita Vai Sikandar, but you're almost there, but there's a small gap that's left. It's an experience that I have not had, that I would not know that pain personally in that way. But I've heard from others, and as you can see from one of you is sharing that it's like, I wanted 42.125, I did 41 with the 1.125, but then you don't get the same sense that you got when you finish that. But still, you go back and you stretch for it. If you don't know, what are some of these goals that you can stretch that you're sure you can achieve, even if you try? You're not sure, right? You're not sure if you can get there because there are some that you get there. I'm somebody that's been out here for 2-3 years and I'm still at a 10K and I take it slow. I'm a low risk taker. I look at things I can achieve and I stretch a little beyond. And I have friends who tell me, come on, just get on that and you will manage. Don't worry about it. But I, by nature, by persona, by my characteristic, I don't like to go too beyond that stretch. So I will always try to stretch a little bit. Where is your level of the stretch? What is your stretch goal that you want to do, right? That is something that you've got to decide. It could be in the profits you want to make. It could be in the brand differentiation. Maybe in your customer satisfaction. It could be how much do you want to innovate. When I started off Learn Sprint, I'm a certified coach. I'm a certified team coach. I'm a trainer and I'm a coach. For me, Learn Sprint is all about an online e-learning courses. And I started off in August 2020 at the peak time where everyone was trying to conserve their resources. I decided that I'm going to have a big challenge in 2021, etc. Because trainers and coaches when you are firing employees, right? And so I said, I have to pivot. I have to disrupt this. I cannot stick to what I'm doing alone. And I chose to invest. And I have a team of 3 people and I chose to get into my online e-learning and Learn Sprint. That's a chance that you have. That's by definition bigger risk. I don't usually take a risk in that way. So when you're running, what is the stretch goal that you have? A lot of runners will tell you as businessmen, take a little bit of a gamble, see where it goes. If not, you hit it at 100%, you will hit it somewhere midway. So think about where you can have these stretch goals. Last but not the least, planning. I mean, consistency is, I think, the mantra that I've heard a lot of my friends talk about. And I'm sure that all of you will agree with it when it comes down to work or anything. You need to recuperate, hydration, re-energize. You can't like keep running and then keep saying, I'll do this. At the end of 6 months of sleepless nights of business, you just can't wake up with a sore throat and not be able to work at all. How much you manage? For those of us used to races, we understand a concept called pacers. These are people that plan how to finish the distance in a given time, and they are there on the course. If you want to take their support, if you want to finish the 75 minutes, you want to finish the 10 kilometers, but you are lagging behind, you find a pacer that has a flag that says, I'll finish in this time, and you go and ask for help. And first, why do you run with them? So that they can help you get to where you want to go. Finding the right partners, finding the right collaborators, finding the right people who can support us has to be a part of our plan. If we don't have that, then it doesn't really work there. And yeah, consistency is what transforms average into excellence. And I just pulled out from the internet with a big disclaimer, this was not a set plan, but this is how crazy a marathon training plan can be. You'll find a lot if you go online. Okay, please do not look at this specifically. It's a disclaimer from my side. I just picked an example. I could have cluttered the slide with 10 small images that talk about how training plans can look like. But look at the enormity of strategy and planning. While realizing that there is an OODA loop required, and to form the identity that you really want to form and keep stretching extra goals. And Alex Osterwalder talks about business model canvas. How do you see the business model canvas? If yes, give me a yes. I can say if no, give me a no, but then like fantastic. Okay, yes, thanks. Business model canvas, MBAs out over there, right? So this is how it looks. If you can have a plan, if you can have a charter, if you can say this is the way, yes, Haripriya, great, thanks. If you can say these are my customer segments, these are my customer relationships, these are my channels, this is my value proposition, this is my business model canvas. I have that in mind. And then ask yourself, what is the stretch target that I can achieve and that I want to go for? How do you want to create the identity-based habits that will help me work towards that stretch target? And how can I be aware of the changes and constantly keep doing the OODA loop so that I dynamically can go towards where I go? And if you're able to do that, then you would be able to take the leap constantly wherever you can take that leap. And let me tell you that the research goes that the first marathon runner, Greek legend has it that when he collapsed, he actually ran across the distance to tell that they had won the war. He collapsed and died after running that distance. But a lot has changed after that. The first eras of businessmen have struggled to be able to create the business. Today, you have so many available from support system from everywhere. For me personally, running kind of balances my life, right? It helps me stretch my targets. It helps me feel good. It's given me fantastic friends that I love. It gives me a little bit of focus on my fitness. I never cared about my fitness until 3-4 years back in my life. It helps me feel a lot of satisfaction. And I work with Hyderabad a lot. It helps me feel satisfied that I'm contributing back and doing service or social service out there to help fitness in other places. Everything balances my life. And I hope that for each one of you, some of these concepts, I would love to hear on the chat, right? While I have something a little extra special for you for about 10-15 minutes, which I'm hoping I can go on till 12, right, sir? 60 to 75 minutes. For next 15 minutes, I have something that I want to share with all of you. But before that, I'd love to hear on chat what, in whatever we spoke about, resonated with you, that stayed with you, that you think you will take back into your business, into your life, into your workspace, or maybe also start off running. If I could have a few messages out over there, I would really appreciate that. Or unmute and please share. Well, Shashikant, thoughts?
Yeah, madam. Yeah, so I really impressed with that slide where you mentioned that there's one which is a short-term goal and then one which is a far extended goal. Na? That's really, I mean, for maybe I've not read Atomic Habits, so from you, I'm probably seeing it for the first time. So that really brings out as to why, in fact, yesterday I was, day for yesterday, I was giving orientation to around 10, 12 freshers from engineering colleges for day. So this slide actually, now when I go back to them, every week I have an orientation with them, right? So when I go back to them, I will tell them why they need to have that extended ambition versus whatever the accepted ambition. So most of the people like whom we see in the normal place are all having normal ambition. What you're talking about is an aspiration. That is one stretch one, right? So that's the difference between people like Elon Musk and normal people, right? Thank you. I think this is one great thing which you have mentioned.
Thank you. Yep, strategy, Gopi, thanks for sharing that. Vishwanath sir, you've been active on the chat, you've been sharing your thoughts. Would love to hear you if you could, if not at least on the chat.
Yeah. Okay. At my age, actually, we go through this. The only thing fear is burnout, because I was a runner myself, except my cartilage got fibrillated, my knee cartilage. So they say my body is very flexible, so I'm not supposed to run. That's what the doctors advised. And I've taken to yoga and stair climbing. That's how I keep myself fit. The whatever you said, ambition and goal setting, I feel most important, it should be for yourself, not to prove anything to others. That I think somewhere you should.
Sure. Yeah. Your own identity. Everyone runs at their own pace. That's something that someone mentioned at the start of the session also on the chat, right?
I would write, instead of coming to such marathons or half marathons conducted as events, you do yourself on your own. You run by yourself, or you set your own goals, because others can actually stretch you. That is bad, because if others stretch you, if you keep your goals and to suit others thing, that's what happens all the time. I see people want higher salaries. Why? Because the next guy has got more. They are frustrated because they don't get a raise. They really do not know what is their goal. Why 10 kilometers? Why not 8 kilometers? Why not 12 kilometers? Why not today 16 kilometers? Why 40? Why not 50? I mean, I think each person should set their own goals, not goals determined by an organizer. I mean, this is my feeling. And you can have it every day, actually, when you can keep changing and having your own goals because to suit your family, to suit your lifestyle. A lot of people make this mistake that if you make a lot of money, your lifestyle will change. No, it depends on your ethos. If your ethos is, it depends on your upbringing. So I don't know. This is my thought process. I just want to share with everybody.
Looking at avoiding the comparison trap, right? So even if you're on the same distance and the same route as everyone else, you have your own pace and you have your own thoughts.
Do you have the guts to say I will do at this pace and this is how I will do?
Definitely.
I will run backward. Has anybody done in marathons like that? They do in New York marathons, I was told. There are people who try to run backward. It is to prove a point that they have their own goals and they set their own goals.
Definitely. Absolutely no comparisons, be at your pace. Thanks for sharing that. So on that note, I have a friend of mine that's out over here. So I'm going to ask Prashant's message me something. I'm going to ask him to come on screen and actually share that. Can you come on video? Prashant? Okay.
Hi.
So I'm going to, I don't know if I can spotlight you. Should I ask Gopi to do that? Okay, I can. And let me spotlight myself so that you don't feel too conspicuous out over there. So everyone, so Prashant's my friend and Prashant's a part of Hyderabad Runners. In fact, is a part of the body in the Society for Hyderabad Runners. And I've done 42.125 full marathon, or marathon as we call it. And it's a consistent runner. So Prashant, we have one person in the group here. Her name is Subbalakshmi, who's done a full marathon, right? And most of the others are 10K runners. And you just messaged something on the chat. So maybe you could just start off by talking about that, and then I'll I've invited Prashant over here to share a few thoughts because no matter come what may, I'm a little limited in my experience level because I only run how much I can run. I love running and I can be called a runner, but I'm not really a marathoner. And so I wanted him to share some of his experiences. So thanks for joining me here today. And if it's okay with all of you for about 10 minutes, if we could kind of have a little bit of a chat and you could feel free to ask him any questions, that would be great. So yeah, you can go ahead sharing what you just shared with me on the chat.
Yeah, hi everyone, and thanks for having me over, Revathi. It's a pleasure to be on one of your webinars and also interact with the group that you're addressing. So as Mr. Vishwanath was saying, has anybody run backwards? So I'm okay, before that, let me give you a very small introduction of mine. I'm a part of the Hyderabad Runners Society, which is the major running group in Hyderabad, and I've been there with the Hyderabad Runners Society for the last almost 12 years or so. So in one of the runs that we had organized, the Hyderabad Marathon, probably 2016 or 2017.
Slow down, slow. A little slower, please. Yeah, the video.
Yeah, sure. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's that enthusiasm which just gets me going very fast. But yeah, I need to be a little slow. So in one of the runs that we had organized, the Hyderabad Marathon in 2016 or 17, we had a gentleman called Major Nitin Joshi, and he ran the entire marathon, the entire half marathon backwards. And he's sent it to the Guinness Book of World Records to establish the record. I don't know how, at what stage it is. And in one of the marathons, he also ran holding the India flag. The half marathon he ran holding the India flag. So yes, there have been a lot of people who have tried various things at the marathon. I don't know if any of you have been to Mumbai to see the Standard Chartered Mumbai Marathon, or what is now known as the Tata Mumbai Marathon. They have something called a fun run, which is about 7-8 kilometers. And there you will see people come for running dressed in costumes. Some are holding banners, very creative banners. Some are holding banners with very meaningful messages. That's their way of communicating out to the world, or that's their way of making a mark. I heard Mr. Vishwanathan say that why do you need to run distances which are set by the organizers? Why can't you run your own distances? Well, you can. In practice, you can definitely run your own distances. It's always a lot of fun to set your own goals and achieve them at your pace. And the excitement that you get at the end of it, the exhilaration that you get is unmatched. At the same time, it's also good to run the organizers set distances with a group of friends, or in a way that you find suitable. That's your way of expressing. So whatever I've seen at the marathon, where people had these messages, where people had these fancy dresses or costumes, that was a way of their expression, and I really loved it. And I'm told that in many of the overseas runs, which are like not very long distances, say about 10 or 21K, people treat it as a fun event. People treat it as a steam let off kind of thing after a hard week or a hard month. That's their time to unwind, and that's how they express themselves.
You just 21K, not long distance. Right?
In the runner's parlance, generally, any distance less than 10K is called a short distance, and the 21 and 42 are the longer distances. But now I think with the excitement of the new runners who are joining, and the kind of running culture that is coming in India, even 60 kilometers and 100 kilometers are not exactly called as long distances. People are going for ultra marathons and whatnot.
You know, I find that a little interesting that you shared that. You said with the kind of running thing that's happening right now in India, right? It's kind of a boom, right? It's becoming a trend right now in that way.
Absolutely.
Startups, businesses, entrepreneurship also in a way are kind of a trend. It's kind of a boom. So is there some balance you see in both? Like, you know, everybody gets up one day and decides, Chala, I'm going to run 10 kilometers, 21 kilometers today. Everyone gets up and says, I'm going to start up a business today. You know, do you see balance in this? What works and what are some of the caution points? Because you also have your own business, right? You're also an entrepreneur along with being a runner. So how do you see that parallel?
So let me give you a very interesting statistic. It said in India, every day there are 200 new runners joining the running bandwagon. 200 runners, and it's supposed to be a 3,000 or rather $3 billion industry, and growing as in terms of business. But let's leave the business part aside in terms of what the running business is all about. Let's focus on the participation. So with 200 new runners joining, you will have something like, I think 10 lakh runners joining every year, and the tribe is growing. And if you see what India has done in the past 5 or 6 years, so many startups have come up, and we've had what, about 140 unicorns or more. So I don't know, but a decent number of unicorns. So I think that the parallel, as you said, between running and businesses is kind of going neck to neck.
So what's the danger in that? I mean, 200 new runners every day is like, would it actually stay? Does it go consistent? What's the danger in that? What do you watch out for?
You mean when you start off running?
Running versus a business, both ways, right? New startups, new running per se. You just get up and then decide, I'm going to start off running as something. I'm going to start off a business. But what's the parallel and what to watch out for? What could go wrong?
So, okay, I like to actually bring in here my running story or the way I started running. But before that, let me also give you one more interesting piece of statistic. Most runners who are joining running today are in the age group of 35 to 45. It's not the very youngsters, or it's not the people of the higher ages or seniors. 35 to 45 is the age group of people who are kind of thinking that they want to join running. And kind of it happened with me in a similar manner. I joined a small event. I'd participated in a small event about 10, 12 years back, where I had to do about 3 kilometers. And I started off running. I said 3 kilometers, well, it's not a big distance. 3 kilometers, you can do it. I mean, people walk it up. So I started off running, did about half a kilometer, and suddenly I realized my legs are not supporting me. I'm kind of going out of breath. And so I had to start walking for about 100 meters. And then I said, no, this is not done. So I started running again. And again, I'm running about 200, 300 meters and again going out of breath. And the whole cycle continued till I finished the 3 kilometers. And our runner friend, who was a runner then, and I wasn't at that time. So he was observing me. So he comes to me at the finish line and he says, I think I saw you struggle with running. I said, yeah. He says, why don't you come with me? I'll help you out. So I said, okay, sure. Why not? So next day onward, he said, we'll meet up 3 days a week and you have to treat me to coffee every day after the run. I said, okay, done. So we started running, and on the very first day I was running with him. We ran about 2 kilometers and we were engaging in talk, and I didn't even realize it was 2 kilometers. It was over. He was wearing that watch called Garmin, which has the GPS, so you can measure the distance. So he showed me 2 kilometers is done, and you're still not out of breath. Your legs are not paining. So I said, yeah. And it was a wonder for me that how I could actually have run those 2 kilometers on that day. And by the end of the week, after 3 runs, I was running 5 kilometers. And slowly he showed me a plan. Let's follow this plan and let's go up to 10. And I said, okay, let's try that. Though I wasn't very confident I'll do 10 kilometers. I was at that time of that mentality that whenever a 10K run was announced or a 21K run was announced, I was like, people in the right mind are not going to run 10K or 21K. That's not a distance for a normal person to run. But okay, with his motivation, we took that 10K plan, and in about a month's time or month and a half time, we were running 10Ks, and slowly that got us on to 21K. So I think 21K in about 6 months time. So I think first and foremost, my takeaway from that was that I had a good guide with me, someone who could mentor me along, someone could guide me the right way to do it. Secondly, my own dedication to the plan that he had given me to follow, which was like slowly increasing, just like the plan that Revathi shared. That was, of course, for a full marathon. And I'm talking of a 10K. So there's a little bit of difference. But at the end of the day, whatever the plan, you still need to follow it. So I realized that my first step was agreeing to start off with him, agreeing to start off with my runner friend, take him as a coach, take him as a mentor to start running. Next step was following the plan that he gave me, following it persistently, consistently, and being patient with it. And slowly and steadily, we built upon it, and about 6 months, in about 6 months time, I think we did the half marathon. So I think these are the 2 or 3 main things that I think I see a parallel between running and say starting off a business.
Sure. I think one last question I would love to ask you, and after that, if anybody wants to ask or talk or share experiences, would be great. I remember you talking about the first time you've done the Mumbai run, etc. You talked about your plan versus, because one of the concepts we talked about was the UDA loop, where we said we can't decide a strategy right at the start, and there are dynamic changes that happen, and you got to reorient your strategy consistently. Has that happened over the 42.125 kilometers that you run? Has there been times that you had to change your strategy, shift your strategy, and how do you see that relating to the work that you also do?
So yeah, the first time when I ran Mumbai, I ran the full marathon in Mumbai, and in the preparatory stage, in about the 6 or 8 months before the run, I had worked out the route, the kind of elevation that I would get in Mumbai, and I thought I had it all in place. My training was set up following the proper plan and proper whatever hydration and nutrition and all that I had to do. So I thought I was kind of in place. But when you undertake your first full marathon, it's a little ambitious. It's not just running 2 half marathons. It's running 1 half marathon on tired legs after you finish the first half marathon. So it's a different ball game. And in training, you do distances up to say 30-35 kilometers. You don't go the whole hog of 42. So on the race day, when you are actually there on the ground, it's a different story. So I started off the Mumbai run, and the climate was excellent, pretty decent, not like the climate you see in Mumbai regularly in daytime, about 20-24 degrees, cool breeze. Finished off the half marathon, going very well, with my target of about 4.5 hours in mind. So the first half distance, 21 kilometers distance, I probably finished in about 2 hours, 10 minutes or so. And as I was entering my 30th kilometer, I realized I was getting a bit tired. And just at that time, the sun started coming out, and the whole of Mumbai humidity started playing on my head. And that's where we came to Pedder Road, where we have a flyover. That's something I had not bargained for, that I'll be running on tired legs on a steep incline with the sun beating on me, and me not able to find water or hydration points. So that was it was like Murphy's law coming into position, that when something can go wrong, is going to go wrong, and everything was going wrong. And I was suddenly in doldrums, whether I'll be able to finish this, or do I just move out, and what to do. So I just kept persistently on. I said, well, let me slow down the pace, but let me just keep on to the distance, keep on to the route, and probably a little ahead, I might be able to find greener pastures. So a couple of kilometers where I could negotiate the slope, but I kept on at a slow pace. Still couldn't find water. Finally, I thought, why not? I had there was a runner running parallel to me. I just asked him, took his water bottle, had a couple of swigs, got back the energy, kept on, and finished that. Not though in my targeted time of 4 hours 30 minutes, in about 4 hours 49 minutes, but did that. So I realized, that persistence or perseverance on that track was the main thing, though it was something new that was being dished out to me at the stage of running that I was on. But going ahead persistently with that, having a self-belief that I'm going to complete it, helped me finish that. There's so many of the new runners who had given up that day. I'm thankful I didn't, and I kept on.
Sure. Thanks so much for sharing. It's also interesting to see, you said not 4:30, 4:49. So how specific we are also with results, tangible numbers. I think when we look at businesses, look at profits, again, numbers matter, but at the same time, the journey also matters as much. And I wanted you out here just so that you could add on to whatever I could. And thanks for taking your time out. I want to pause here over to Gopi sir. If anybody has any questions, or if anyone would like to share, I'm going to do Prashant a big favor and let him go back out of his spotlight over here, because something that he would always like, and I'll take myself off the spotlight too. I would love to see videos of the few of us who are here. I know that as it goes towards the end, it gets a little tough. I would love to see a few videos, and thank you so much for your time. Thanks, Prashant, for your time. And over to you, sir, if people have any questions, any thoughts, anything to share at this point of time.
I would like to, as a fitness enthusiast, I've been to, as I told you, since my cartilage fibrillated, my knee cartilage fibrillated, I had an arthroscopy done. but I was a runner, not a marathoner. Means I'll do like 4 minutes to a kilometer, that speed, 15, 20 kilometers. In fact, it's surprising why people don't take up walking, because Olympic walkers do 4 minutes to a kilometer. Actually, walking is much more safer. I wish I had a coach who taught me race walking. Actually, it's a much safer, and the speeds are not bad. 4 to 5 minutes a kilometer is what Olympic walkers do. You can do 20 kilometers of that. And also it exercises your hips, because you have to keep moving the hips also. Somehow everybody takes up to running. Surprising. Maybe they don't have the discipline to take up to race walking. I don't know why. But I will say, as a business person, I'm a serial entrepreneur. It's actually much tougher because there are extraneous factors. I'm sorry, there's something wrong with my video. There are extraneous factors like government rules, labor problems. It's like you run the marathon and somebody is pulling you from behind. Like, can you imagine? You start the marathon thinking you can finish, and now they say, no. You will have 2 people pulling you from behind. You have to complete the marathon. That's what is business all about. There are so many extraneous factors that happens. So after, I never worked. I'm a chemical engineer, but I never worked. I've always been a startup artist, and now it has become fashionable to say startup. When I started, it was actually tough because my own family wouldn't support me. I had a tough time finding a wife, because a guy without a job, nobody will give a girl. Okay. So that was way back in 91. I would say being in business is much more tougher, because you have even failures. You have to, like, starting all over again. You are in 10 kilometers, they'll again put you back in 0 kilometer and say start again. And still you must have the energy, you must have the courage to keep running. Businesses are much more tougher than running a marathon. I would definitely say that, because there are other people's lives that matter. There are your workers, staff, their livelihood is dependent on your hand. This is my take. It's much. You learn the principle of Saranagati. The more you are in business, you understand the principles of Saranagati. And now I stop believing that I am running business. It runs by itself. I only work hard. And you understand the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita very well if you're 20, 25 years in business. Whatever happens, you think good. And now I am actually, at 62, I'm not working for myself. I'm working for 60 odd people who are dependent on me. So when people say, how big is your family? I say, I have about 60 children. And people ask me this question, do they listen to you? I said, of course not. Our own children don't listen to us. Why would you expect your people who take salary listen to us? So you get into that mindset. And anyway, excellent session, because running has been close to my heart. I started off as a runner. So whatever you said made a lot of sense, and very nice. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for sharing yourself, definitely. Thank you for sharing part of yourself over here. Kumar sir, nice to see you on video. Lennon, thoughts?
Kumar, you can share, Kumar.
See, a lot of things to share, but see, this the startup runner now at this stage, whether it's applicable for us, I don't know. But Gopi and is the best one of the in games. We know each other and better, and when we started a cross country of 4 kilometers and 6 kilometers, I used to do it by 12 minutes, 12 seconds by 4 kilometers and 17 minutes by 6 kilometers. That was the time we had in Republic Parade 1983 for RDC candidate. So now, at this age, whether we will be getting back to the same situation, it's not possible. But I don't know how best, but this has given a lot of motivation to us, and we'll try to do something on this.
Definitely. I think, Prashant, you can share. I mean, we have people that are 70 plus, right, who still run full marathons. But then I think it's about staying on track, and definitely it's where you are. I think one thing is to avoid the snare of comparison trap and look at where you are, where you want to go. I think it's the same with business, if all of you would agree that we all have our own pace. We decide to slow down a couple of years. We decide to pick up pace a couple of years. Sometimes we kind of take a step back, let someone else run that show for us for a while. So I don't know, in terms of can we start? If so, what change do we start now? If we want to start, any thoughts on that, Prashant?
I think it's a very personal thing, and it's a very relative thing to how active you've been all along and how active you are now. but I don't think there is any right or wrong age to start running. In fact, just adding to what Mr. Vishwanath said, why not walking? So there is a marathon coach with the name of Jeff Galloway, who kind of promotes running and walking. And we have a 72-year-old runner in our midst who persistently follows Jeff Galloway. And he like runs marathons on almost every other weekend. He's running a marathon at the age of 72. And I'm always amazed to see him run. And I always enjoy running with him, with the kind of discussion he does. But that's one thing that made me realize that probably there's no right age or wrong age to start running. Basically, if you want to, and if you think it's useful, you can start off at a slow pace, lower distances, build it on to higher distances. That's entirely up to you.
One more thing I want to share here, apart from running, either it be running or walking or it must be that above the age of 40, one should keep themselves active in some way or the other. You may be doing some fitness training or walking or running or whatever suits you. Because like it was my personal experience having done so many half marathons and a couple of full marathons, ultra running, everything. Suddenly I got so sick, like I had GBS. You can just go and see what GBS is all about, because I came to know only when I had the disease. GBS, Guillain-Barré syndrome, which affects all your muscles and nerves. You can't even get up from the chair all by yourself. You can't speak. All the muscles will lose its elasticity. The involuntary muscles and the voluntary muscles. You can't do anything by yourself. That was what I got into, a couple of years back. Or I'm just recovering. It's not yet fully done. So after that, after running and all that, you're not even able to get up and walk by yourself. Really puts you down so much. But after so much of physiotherapy and all that, when my physiotherapist wanted to hold plank for, I used to be okay, like 8 to 9 minutes plank, I was able to hold earlier than that. But then after that, 15 seconds was very difficult for me. So then, I slowly picked up, and at the end of 1 month of physiotherapy, I was able to hold for 2 minutes. At that point in time, the physiotherapist was saying that it was all your willpower and nothing else that, made you come back to normalcy. So, and then he also added one more important point, which I wanted to share here, that it was like, because you were so active and physically fit all these years, at this age, I'm 50 years. So he said at this age of 50, you were able to bounce back in 1 year into running, was mainly due to your fitness earlier. So he attributed so much of that to this. So I want to share this in this platform so that whoever is not into running or walking or do anything else, please do, because we don't know what is in store for us at any point in time in life. If you're active and if you keep your muscles moving and all that, when you get into something, you'll be able to recover faster. It was my personal experience. I thought I'll share. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I think it takes a lot of guts to say, I'm going to speak about my downs and what I have not been able to go through. So thank you for resonating that thought. It's really these kind of value adds that make it, for me, it adds on for me to come back and then to talk in groups like this.
Yeah,
right?
one runner from Mumbai, he, I wrote an FB, I wrote a post saying what it was, so that at least, I didn't know when I got it that it was GBS means what. So I wanted to create a little awareness, so I shared it in the Facebook. And then here from Mumbai, one of my running friends who I've never met, who called me and told, why don't you write about a recovery also, so that I can share it in my running group and make more people come into some fitness. So that was one of the reasons I shared it here also. If some of us are not doing anything, you can pick up from here. So it made a lot of difference. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And also, paralleling with that out, a lot of times you will have down times in business. Sometimes it's COVID, sometimes it's something that we go through, but the consistency that we put over the years, I think helps us bounce back, just the same way that you spoke about in the fitness. So I would like to pause here, and I know that as we go closer to the end of the session, everyone starts dropping off, right? We have this thing at the end where, okay, we've got other commitments that we all go back to. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Gopi sir, back to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Revathi. Thank you, Mr. Prashant, for sharing your insights here. We look forward to having part 2 sometime down the line,
Thank you so much.
It was a very interesting session. It was we had a lot of takeaways from it. Thank you very much, Revathi, for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Yeah.